Charlas de la noche. Palabras con imagen. El análisis de los acontecimientos que influyen en nuestra vida con el periodista Francisco Durán Rosillo.
Frank Durán Rosillo te saluda y los saluda a todos ustedes, su amiga María Celeste Raraz, para invitarlos a que se suscriban a mi canal de YouTube María Celeste Raraz, tal como mi nombre, donde les informo todas las semanas sobre entrevistas que tienen un tema que ayuda a mejorarnos como personas y de paso son interesantes. Las pueden encontrar en mi canal de YouTube, así que los espero. Y se suscriben gratis.
Apreciados amigos, en un reportaje que les presento, que salió hace unas horas al aire, de una televisora norteamericana, pues ven cómo se ha reducido notablemente el tráfico de migrantes en la frontera. Pero también los pilotos califican que el hecho es un factor de dinero. El hecho de controlar, cerrar la frontera, blindarla, como le quiera decir, tiene un costo, no para Trump, para los que pagan impuestos. Ahora, Trump ya puso todos los números en la estadística, lo que le cuesta a cada prisionero, porque en Estados Unidos las prisiones son privadas y le venden el servicio al gobierno para abatir costo, burocracia, lo que usted quiera. Por eso los mandó a El Salvador, los manda a Guantánamo, y lo que se ve que puede perder con los aranceles, gracias, alguien me dio acceso a los números, no se compara con lo que estaban perdiendo con la pasada libre de migrantes. Recuerden que esta gente en la ciudad de Santuario se les dieron tarjetas por $1,200, delinquían, robaban, algunos se prostituían. Yo simplemente vi el caso que alguien del FBI me platicó. Recuerden que ustedes vieron que jugadores de la NFL, de fútbol americano, y jugadores de básquetbol de las ligas profesionales se quejaron de robos en sus residencias. Bueno, el modus operandi es que mucho venezolano hace Uber Foods, entrega de comidas, o Spark, entrega de mandados en los supermercados, y obviamente se les provee la clave del gate de seguridad. Estos tipos pues guardaban toda la información, tomaban fotos de la residencia, sacaban datos a quién pertenece, hacían su entrega. Al final ellos le venden al cartel de Aragua toda la información. El cartel de Aragua ve, esta residencia es de un ex campeón del Supertazón y va a jugar tal domingo. Obvio es que se va a llevar a toda la familia. Entonces disfrazaban una situación, se ponían ahí en el asiento de atrás una caja de pizza de esas que supuestamente iban a hacer entrega, burlaban la clave que ya la tenían, entraban a la residencia a robar. Gracias a que un policía detuvo a un carro de estos tipos, se dio cuenta que no podían justificar de dónde traían los jerseys profesionales tan caros, los anillos de campeonato de cuando ganaron, etcétera, etcétera. Los detuvieron y empezó la investigación. Pero la situación no termina allí. Recuerden que el gran grueso de migrantes venezolanos fueron enviados por Nicolás Maduro, quien vació las cárceles venezolanas y Diosdado Cabello le dijo, mira, nos quitamos costos, mándalos a todos. Ahora a Maduro no le queda bien andarlos defendiendo. Si él los sacó de la cárcel para mandar un problema a Estados Unidos, ¿ok? Dictador Maduro, ¿quieres que Bukele te mande esos criminales a Venezuela? Te vas a poner feliz a ver cómo les das de comer, cómo les das doctor. Ya muchos tienen a las esposas embarazadas, obviamente pensaban que iban a ser ciudadanos americanos, pero ya está la propuesta en el Congreso de que si son criminales de las organizaciones terroristas, y esto escúchenlo muy bien, jovencitas que por ahí se andan embarazando, que para agarrar la ciudadanía, y si el tipejo es uno del Tren del Agua, menos. Entonces ahí se las dejo de tarea. Ahora los invito a un vuelo con una reportera muy guapa a que recorramos la frontera México Estados Unidos en la parte del Paso, Texas, donde ya no se ven esos ríos de gente, pero que los expertos dicen que si Trump afloja el paso, se le vuelven a meter, porque Claudia Sheinbaum no está cumpliendo con las solicitudes del gobierno americano. García, Harfuch, Claudia Sheinbaum, el traidor Trevilla, el de la Marina, el de la Guardia Nacional, solo le están dando a tole con el dedo al gobierno norteamericano. Y esto queda evidente en que no han cerrado la frontera sur. Vamos a ver, está subtitulado al español.
Sure, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. That's a guy, right?
It's all hands on deck.
An Airbnb gives the smugglers the privacy. Drop illegal aliens, pick up illegal aliens for transporting them further into the country.
The Juarez cartel and La Niña were not designated as terrorist organizations. Do you feel worried about their capabilities? Because, I mean, couldn't they just shoot you out of the sky?
The threat of violence is always in the back of your mind.
We know that.
Sure, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. That's a guy, right?
It's all hands on deck.
An Airbnb gives the smugglers the privacy. Drop illegal aliens, pick up illegal aliens for transporting them further into the country.
The Juarez cartel and La Niña were not designated as terrorist organizations. Do you feel worried about their capabilities? Because, I mean, couldn't they just shoot you out of the sky?
The threat of violence is always in the back of your mind.
We know that we can do it.
Hey, I'm Allie Bradley with News Nation, and we're riding along today with Customs and Border Protection, Air and Marine Operations, and we're taking this A-Star up across the El Paso sector so we can see some of the areas that were previously exploited by the criminal cartels and are now basically barren. Nothing is happening because right now they're taking a very defensive posture. They're taking a very high visibility stance out there, and it's all hands on deck. They have force multipliers out there between the agencies, the law enforcement on the ground, and localized law enforcement, and they also have technology and other resources that they're utilizing down here at the border. So we're going to see all of this playing out and how they're harnessing these different resources in order to gain operational control down here at the southern border. So guys, obviously we're talking about the numbers being down, not letting the guard down, obviously still taking a proactive stance and posture, but it's quiet right now. Do you guys anticipate that the cartel is going to act, that there is going to be kind of a resurgence of activity, or do you guys believe that the border is secure at this point?
One thing for sure is that the numbers show I guess you could say that it is secure for the time being. However, it's always about money, right? It's always about how they can exploit the border. So I'm guessing it'll be a matter of time when they kind of wait out what is it that they're looking at. As it's on a daily basis that they're doing counterintelligence as well. So that's something to consider as to where they're going to be deciding where to come in next, right? Therefore, that's my whole point of mentioning that we're trying to maintain that proactive posture and keeping a good eye on the border.
And Taylor's nodding his head here. Taylor, you obviously believe like it's kind of a matter of it's not if but when. Like it's going to happen. It's inevitable. You don't just give up on $13 billion a year.
Exactly.
So it's where is it going to happen? So that's why on a daily basis you guys are still out here looking for something that might be different, looking for anything that might have changed, or hey, that wasn't there before.
Yeah, I definitely think at some point it'll come back, and like Sam was saying, it's just a matter of where, and when. And so I mean, that's why we keep in close contact with Border Patrol. That way they can relay to us like what they're seeing on the ground, and then from what we're seeing from the air, kind of try to paint that full picture and do our best to anticipate where we think the change will come.
With the escalation of violence that we're seeing with the criminal cartels, they're obviously using weaponized drones. We know that they have IEDs that they're using against each other. They have been kind of given the green light to attack Border Patrol and other law enforcement down here at the border. You guys, I mean, you're in the air. Do you feel like you're safe? Do you feel concerned? Do you feel worried about their capabilities? Because, I mean, couldn't they just shoot you out of the sky?
It's certainly always in the back of your mind, and so I mean that's why you're always you're trying to pay attention to what's going on. So I couldn't tell if that was an egret or if that was a guy sitting in the river. Okay. Alright guys, I just came back around. We were kind of flying along there. It may have been an egret since I just really I kind of looked down at there it is. Is that a guy or sure 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock? That's a guy, right? Right there? Yep. What is that? Nope, it's Egret. Okay. Yep, now he's moving. As I was going by, I was like, what the devil is that? Yeah, so the threat of violence is always in the back of your mind. But by maintaining a constant presence out here, you can pick up on those little changes and those little cues that can maybe keep you informed of like what changes maybe come in. So I mean, you don't ever let your guard down. So I mean, do I think about it? Absolutely. Is it going to change the way we do our job? No, we're still going to be out here enforcing the laws.
Do you guys have the capabilities to counter the cartel from up here? Like, I mean, say that you saw them down there and they've got rifles pointed at you from the ground and we're up here. What can you do, or what are you able to do, or what capabilities do we have from up here?
As long as they're in Mexico, I mean, they do as they please over there, right? We can identify as a possible threat for situational awareness. We can go ahead and see if that's a trend or something to keep on looking at. But
you wouldn't take any action against them?
There would be no reason to take any action. I mean, it's something that we can go ahead and like I said, mention and catalog and have in mind for situational awareness.
So what if they fired a shot at you?
That'd be different, right? There we're going on what ifs, right? And I guess to answer that, it would be simply to say that they already know that they're having the spotlight on them now, and I don't think it would be good for their business to get even more attention. So I'm not going to speak for them, but I would assume that the possibilities of that happening is going to be a little bit less than what we would think. However, I'm talking from my own opinion. It's something to consider, absolutely. And you always want to maintain that law enforcement mindset and be aware that there are those possible dangers out there. But there's something to be said about having them conduct in such a way that's going to bring more attention to them in a negative way. So I think that would kind of be limited to some alley actions to the local guys, let's say the smuggler or anything like that. And that's pretty much what I can say about that.
Like it would hurt them more than it would help.
I think so. I think so.
Now you said that they're in the spotlight, obviously, and we know that the president has made these designations over these cartels. But does it concern you that the Juarez cartel and La Línea were not designated as terrorist organizations, and that's who you guys are dealing with?
I think that's why we're maintaining that posture of seeking as to what's going on, so we can go ahead and see what is it that they're doing, and kind of anticipate anything that we can go ahead and report.
We just wrapped up with CBP air and marine operations in the El Paso sector from the sky. We saw a lot up there, so now we're heading to link up with Border Patrol to find out what they're dealing with on the ground.
Here at the Border Patrol, we have the infrastructure, the technology to combat smuggling operations, illegal operations within the sector, in order to help us and assist us with the mission of securing our nation's borders. And one of the technologies that we have is all of our agents have what we call an ATAC phone, and this is a great tool that allows us to view our partners in the field, have their location, and respond to traffic on a more effective way, safer way for us to make those apprehensions of anybody that made illegal entry into the country. Right now, as we are here in the Mount Cristo Rey area, we had notification that in an area west of us, there was an illegal entry. The camera operator was able to guide the agents on the field, and within a minute or two, that apprehension was effected safely for our agents. Primarily for our agents, the safety is paramount, and then the illegal alien was taken into custody. Technology plays an essential key for us in accomplishing our mission, because it allows us to respond to areas in a more effective way, rapidly, and safer for our agents. One of the trends that we see is that the smugglers, the transnational criminal organizations, are using short-term rental facilities as well. So
on the Mexico side or the US?
On the U.S. side,
and like Airbnb.
Yes. So that's one of the reasons why we have gone away from calling them just cartels. Now we call them transnational criminal organizations, because their grasp expands to all over the world. That's why that enterprise has turned into $1 billion enterprise.
All right, stash houses.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so last year we saw how many? Were we saying we saw 281?
281, yeah. 281.
Okay, and then this year we're about 4 months into the fiscal year.
Well, 4 months into the fiscal year, we've seen 60 stash houses in the El Paso sector area. But one thing we like to point out is that stereotype stash house that everybody thinks about when they think about a stash house is no longer the norm. It's no longer like in poor areas of the sector. We've seen areas where they call the high end or high class area of the sector. Nobody can suspect, nobody can notice this. An Airbnb gives the smugglers the privacy of a garage that they can come in and out, drop illegal aliens, pick up illegal aliens for transporting them further into the country. What we tell the community is that if you see something suspicious, report it. Excessive traffic of people, excessive traffic of vehicles in that area, excessive trash being taken out. Unusual coverings of the windows. That's one of the most important pieces that it will give you a clue that something is not right. Something suspicious might be going on.
Have you guys had a lot of citizen reports? Have people come forward and said we're seeing unusual behavior and activity out here?
Well, lucky for us, we do have a great community in our sector. We are part of that community as well. So we do get reports from community members and citizens reporting that they have illegal aliens going through their property, hiding in their backyards, getting picked up and a lot of them give us good information. That way we can make those apprehensions and catch those smugglers and bring them to justice.
Do you think people are more inclined now to call you guys for concerns, or do you think it was more prevalent then? And I guess numbers matter too, but what are you seeing those kind of concerns ramping up, or are they going down, and is that in conjunction with numbers?
Well, they might be going down because the numbers are decreasing as well. Okay. But the community, it's always vigilant, and we always get those reports. So it can go up or down depending on the traffic as well. But we do count with a great community. What
kind of support outside of the community do you guys have when going in and finding and then kind of dismantling these stash houses or short-term rentals, so to speak?
Well, we do have a great collaboration with other agencies, federal, local, state, and even the government of Mexico. So we do have the resources to see and get closure on the smuggling organizations, from making that apprehension at the time that the illegal migrant makes that entry into the United States, all the way to stash houses with HSI, DEA, ATF, ICE, and local agencies as well, like Texas DPS, El Paso PD, El Paso Fire. We do have great collaboration with other agencies.
Outside of the numbers obviously plummeting, what has changed for Border Patrol and for you under the Trump administration, Trump 2.0, if you will?
Well, for us, the big thing is that we have the infrastructure now. We're implementing infrastructure, technology, and we do have the resources from the Department of Defense to help us keep vigilant and accomplish the mission of securing our nation's borders.
Is it helpful to have those resources, or did you guys feel like you were fine before? Did you feel like you had it under control, like you could manage it? Or are the resources and what you're seeing right now, is that welcome? Has that allowed you to do your job better?
We've always welcomed any type of assistance from other agencies. It's something that our chief here in the sectors, Lozar, he's very transparent, and he keeps constant communication with other agencies so we can move all the resources where it's needed, right? But also the presence of more manpower in the field, the DoD personnel observing and reporting, that has led to the smugglers actually seeing that there's more presence. We also see that migrants are turning around voluntarily because they know that we're no longer doing catch and subsequently release. Whoever comes into the country in an illegal manner, we will use and leverage any legal authority to expedite the removal to their country of origin.
Does that make you feel more empowered to do your job? How do you feel when you compare where you're standing and what we're talking about right now versus 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Do you feel like you're able and supported more now to do what you need to do to secure the nation?
Well, for us, it doesn't matter what or who is in power, who's in office, what administration. We are a political agency, so we, regardless of the administration in office, we only enforce the laws that are written, and all of our agents, all of our manpower, do their job with honor and integrity.
I mean, you obviously enforcing the laws as it's written, but that included a lot of catch and release, which wasn't necessarily a law, but more of a kind of enforcement strategy or policy, right? Do you feel with an about face on that kind of policy and strategy has been helpful in securing the border, has been part of that security of the border and ending that kind of idea of you come in, we're going to give you a notice to appear? Do you think that those efforts have helped in reducing the numbers?
Definitely, because the message is getting across. We are removing whoever comes into the country legally. No more catch and release. We're no longer doing that. So if our message to the migrant community is simple: don't believe in the lies of the transnational criminal organizations putting your life on their hands, because you're either going to get hurt with them, injured, or maybe die. but also once you cross, we are going to apprehend you, and we are going to deport you and remove you to your country of origin.
Now, I know the Trump administration has kind of maintained and has been very adamant about kind of zero tolerance, and they want zero crossings, and some sectors are kind of changing their posture to kind of how you guys are doing it. And is your directive more high visibility now at this point? Hey, we're out here, we're a deterrence, don't even try it? Because you used to more so wait, and then they would cross and you would kind of cat and mouse them, right? Mm-hmm. Now is the strategy changing, so it's more, we're here, don't even try it, because if you do, or you're going to get the book thrown at you. Is that what you guys are seeing right now? Is that kind of more of the directive, and is that a change from where we were?
Yeah, it is a change. It is a change, but that is exactly what we're seeing right now. Okay. They're seeing the enforcement, the presence of our agents and our manpower in the field, and they know the migrants, the transnational criminal organizations, they know that once they make that illegal entry, we are going to make that apprehension, and we're going to get them removed.
Now, are we doing expedited removal across the board right now for everybody? I mean, obviously there are exceptions. Unaccompanied children and some familial units are going to have some exceptions, but are we basically looking at an ER for just about everybody who's coming across right now?
Not everybody, because you got to understand, our job is to identify, apprehend, detain, and identify whoever made that illegal entry into the U.S. So we don't know the background. That's why we take you into the processing area, we take your biographical data, and that way we know who we're dealing with. And that way we'll know what disposition is going to be applied to the case to get you removed.
You're waiting for these brush outs, you're waiting for people to come, and you're always in these kind of strategic positions, right?
Yep.
To wait, to pounce on them. But then you have to take them in, and you have to apprehend them, and you have to process them, and it's this whole thing.
Yes.
And Trump wants none of that. Doesn't want anybody in our custody, essentially. Yeah. So now you guys are taking this posture of don't even bother crossing, like stay over there. And we're seeing it. We can see it all down the line where, literal about face from what we saw in November with the posture here. So talk a little bit more about DOD being down here and that supplemental support for you.
Well, for us, the partnership with DOD, our infrastructure, our technology, and our manpower here in the field gives us that tactical advantage, operational advantage, to have border control.
What does it mean to have border control and operational control after 4 years of what felt like chaos down here? I mean, we saw the fences, we saw the surge, hundreds at that gate towards National Guard. We saw what was happening down here in this sector for quite a while. So what does it mean to you to be on the line and to be out here every day and to have kind of that confidence of moving towards operational control or having more of a handle on that?
Well, for us, it's a positive, because this is what we signed up to do. This is the oath we took when we came into office, to protect the Constitution, protect our nation's borders against enemies, foreign and domestic. So for us, it's a proud moment to gain operational control of our nation's borders.
Did you feel like you were able to be proud and carry that mission of honor first over the last administration? Did you feel that? I mean, like you said, this is what we signed up to do. Without putting words in your mouth, this is the job that we wanted to do, right? Did you feel like you were in that same positive space over the last 4 years?
Well, we were, but we were taking more of a humanitarian phase or stage of our job. For me personally, it was gratifying to keep safe whoever was in our custody, especially when we're talking about children, family units, that population of kids, unaccompanied minors, that they have no idea what's going on. We're talking about, we saw kids 2, 3, 4 year old, and a lot of us we're parents, we're fathers, mothers, and it kind of breaks our heart a little bit, just to put it that way. But we were taking pride in making sure that they were that the migrants in our custody were safe, fed, and healthy.
You were in an impossible position no matter what was going on, and you took the best case scenario and kind of ran with it, right? And obviously that's probably why you became an EMT in this space too, because of that compassionate piece. Yeah. What do you guys need? What do you want to see? I mean, over the last 4 years, we got to kind of be your voice and help kind of advocate and talk about the frustrations that you had, and they need resources and they need manpower, but you've got the resources now, you're on the line now.
Yes.
So how do you get to operational control if that is the goal, and what do you need to do that?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do things better. That's why we take a step back, analyze the experience, the past experience, learn from any mistakes, and move forward, And right now what we are looking forward is to get more technology, more infrastructure, and also manpower, more agents on the field. We know that we can do it, and that is something that our agency is looking forward to, hiring more boots on the ground.
Standing here with you guys, it's been years that we've been able to kind of freely talk. And we've got a little bit of a babysitter there, but how does it feel to be able to have these conversations with media, to be able to maybe feel like you do have a voice in this fight again? How does that feel to you? Because, I mean, we really didn't have access to you guys at all for the last couple of years outside of, being able to interact with OPA. Yeah. How does it feel to be standing here in kind of a more open forum with media and having these conversations with us, and maybe, did you feel like you have a voice again in this?
Well, it's not about having a voice or not. It's just that this type of interaction, I really enjoy them because it gives transparency. It portrays the message that we want to portray to the community and to our nation's citizens, because that's our mission: protect the nation's borders and its citizens. And that's why it's important to relay that message and be transparent, so it fosters public trust, which is something that we work hard to foment.
And it's coming directly from you and not out of a second hand like us. So
exactly.
Thank you guys for talking with us and for taking us out and showing us and for being transparent, because that is what the American people are yearning for and want. Yeah. And so we're glad to be able to pass the torch back to you.
It is our honor.
Can have it back.
Yeah. It is our honor.
We just wrapped up our ride-along from the sky with CBP Air Marine Operations, and also from the ground, where we really saw how the two are working as a force multiplier together to deter crossings, which is a posture we haven't seen before, because over the last 4 years, under the Biden administration, their posture was basically a reactionary one where they were responding to the cartel. Now, under the Trump administration, they're using every resource available to prevent anyone from crossing whatsoever, because you have to understand, when someone crosses that border, they essentially become kind of the issue of the United States. We have to transport them, process them, and ultimately remove them, which costs money, time, and resources. So they're trying to prevent that from happening at all moving forward. So they're using tools from the air and on the ground to thwart those crossings. And one of the interesting things is that where we were in the El Paso sector, the neighboring city is Juarez. Over the last decade, it has been listed as one of the deadliest cities in the world. But the cartel that controls it, Juarez Cartel or La Linea, they weren't designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Law enforcement down there, Border Patrol, they thought they were. They were actually shocked when we told them about it, and they were actually frustrated that they weren't designated as an FTO, because they believe they should be. Now, we talked with lawmakers in the city. They didn't want to go on camera talking about it because they're worried that because cartel members live in their city, they know that is true. They know associates also live in El Paso. They said they don't want a target on their back. So the threats are very real. When we asked AMO up in the air, what can you do if the cartel is pointing rifles at you and can shoot you out of the sky? And they said they basically have to be on guard at all times and not letting that guard down. And that's why we're seeing so many resources surge to the border right now, despite those numbers being lower, because it's not if, but when they believe the cartel is going to strike again.
Frank Durán Rosillo te saluda y los saluda a todos ustedes, su amiga María Celeste Raraz, para invitarlos a que se suscriban a mi canal de YouTube, María Celeste Raraz, tal como mi nombre, donde les informo todas las semanas sobre entrevistas que tienen un tema que ayuda a mejorarnos como personas y de paso son interesantes. Las pueden encontrar en mi canal de YouTube, así que los espero. Y se suscriben gratis.
Escuchaste el análisis de la noticia, transparente como el agua, con el periodista Francisco Durán Rosillo.